I joined the military in 2004. I was in the infantry for 3 or 4 years. Went to Special Forces selection after that. Ended up at 5th Special Forces route from about 2009 to 2021, where I retired, medically retired for hip issues. I did 9 combat deployments during that time, almost all to the Middle East. And after I retired, basically continued contracting and staying in that world. And that's pretty much where I'm at today. Well, I'd had issues when I was in the military since my very first deployment. Pretty severe hip issues for being ejected out of a Humvee during an IED, and I just kind of stuck through it. I went all the way through selection with it, all the way through the Q course, all the way through all my deployments on my team. But by 2013, the problem had gotten so severe that I could barely stand up straight anymore. So after many months of trying to get care for it, I found a really good orthopedic surgeon that just saw me and knew exactly what was going on. He was able to operate on me and largely resolve the issue enough for me to continue. But as with a lot of things, it started stacking up over time. I continued to have problems with my hip, having a lot of brain fog issues, a lot of fatigue throughout the day, all day. I would say generally having a flat affect, like my brain didn't seem capable of really feeling like emotionally high or emotionally low. And regardless of what was going on, I just didn't honestly care all that much about it. And I started to realize something wasn't right. But it wasn't until after I'd retired that I felt like I had an opportunity to actually address it. And even then, it took me some years. So, of course, we're starting this in 2026. So you can see almost 5 years to the date since I retired is when I started this program. I do feel like that. I feel like throughout my career, maybe I was very fortunate that the commanders and seniors that I had around me actually did care about their guys. But the thing about the military is that the mission is always first. And it was more important to get out there and get the missions done. And if you were good enough to get out there and do the mission, then everybody has done their job. And it's not until you kind of get out of the rotation cycle where you can start prioritizing those things. Did I feel disappointed that we hadn't figured out some of these problems sooner? Of course, but I don't blame anyone for it because they worked really hard to try to help with the means that they had and the time that they had to do it. I will say that I think month 3 of like balancing on one foot on a medicine ball, like holding a bowling pin on my nose, I was finally like, I'm done. Send me to someone else who has a different way to look at this. And they were like, okay. And that's when they brought the ortho guy in, and he kind of helped me start that process of resolving it. But no, overall, I feel very fortunate and very blessed, even with the issues that I did have. I started getting this fairly severely even during my first deployment. During that time frame was unfortunately very common for soldiers to be exposed to like massive amounts of IEDs at very close range. And a lot of people that I served with on that deployment had the same issue, but I was just able to overcome it. And perhaps the most frustrating part about it is towards the end of my career when I started going to the kind of neurologically and brain health focused appointments when they realized something was actually going on. My test scores didn't really justify anything, and that we had no baselines. And unfortunately, at that time, that it was a big priority for them to start getting baselines on people so that at the end of their career, they're not going off a current snapshot of where they're at in terms of their brain health. The thing that stands out to me the most is the smoothness of the daily operations, the consistent and constant helpful communication from the staff at all levels, from Colleen all the way up to Anson. Everybody is communicating all the time because they want us to be where we need to be and have the support we need to have to get through those sessions of therapy or what it is we're doing that day. And there's not a day that any of us come in where we just don't want to see people at work here. It's almost like it's the highlight of your day because it's what you do all day for 19 days, but that makes it so much easier. There's no egos or personality conflicts, and everyone takes the time to get to know you personally and talk to you, and you can tell there's a genuine interest in your well-being. And that really kind of buttresses the effectiveness of the therapy, I think, having that sense. So the key is that I don't feel inflamed and in pain when I wake up in the mornings. When I wake up and I put my feet on my ground, I forget that I didn't have a headache, or that my neck or my shoulders don't hurt or my hip doesn't hurt, or my hips, I should say. And in the past, I would just deal with it. Now I don't even think about it. After probably the first 8 or 9 days is when I started really noticing that I wasn't noticing pain, if that makes sense, which was great and wonderful. So I kept calling my wife. I'm like, this is great. You're going to see a lot happier me between, 6 in the morning and 8:30 in the morning. So I would say brain fog too. I don't have it as bad these days because I have taken steps to take care of myself, but it absolutely has kept me sharp, even later into the evenings. We run long days here for these treatments on this condensed timeline, but I don't feel especially tired at night, or when I first wake up in the morning, to be honest. And I think without the hyperbaric treatment, that would not be the case. If that makes sense. I would say the triad of the therapy approach is the key. Some people might need more movement, and that's what they're really missing. And the hyperbaric and the TMS helps them additionally. And some people might need more TMS, and the movement and the hyperbaric is supplemental. And some people might really need the oxygen in their tissues. That's probably me. And the other two things really support that. So no matter where you're coming from and what your primary cause or nexus of your issues is, the tripod approach here, I think, is the magic to it. That's what I would tell them. So I would say take all three seriously. And you need to wake up and think, we got to go in and get our oxygen, and then we're going to move our bodies, and then we're going to get our brain stimulated, and then we're going to do it all over again until we leave. And if you had that positive approach to like proactively getting treated for it, I think you will see very good results. I really just told her I feel better. And so, but when I get back, I feel quite certain that she's going to notice it, especially in the morning times, a little bit difficult to be around, that things are a lot better for me. I'm not having to spend 2 hours getting stretched out and getting the kinks out that are aggravating and things like that. I think what she will notice too is that 19 days here gives you a chance to kind of reset away from the daily stressors, and being able to kind of slowly get back into a real fitness routine is really, really important. And I hope that that's what she notices the most, is that like I can finally get back to the way it was when I was active duty and really serious about that. So I think this will enable me to do that.